Good evening and welcome to Namaste, where you must live and learn so you don't get burned. So, thank you so much for tuning in. What my channel is basically going to be, every week I'm going to discuss topics that will allow you to have self-healing and self-love and encouragement in your life, as well as a little bit of laughter. I'm a bit of a comedian, so I got to throw some of that in there for you to keep it fun and entertaining for you. So today on my first topic that I chose was, why do people cheat? Uh, I think that's a very controversial topic, depending on what generation you are from. So I looked up the 8 reasons why people cheat. So I'm going to go over that with you. Number 8 is curiosity and new experiences. I think a lot of us, depending on the length of time that we're in a relationship, we tend to get curious. We tend to get bored because we're not willing to communicate and keep things interesting in our relationships. And we need to do that, whether that be with a spouse or a significant other. I think it's very important because that will prevent you from, the curiosity and wanting to venture out and find, you know, people to mess around with. So I think that's important for that. The next one is revenge. Studies show that more women have cheated to seek revenge. Uh, we are emotional creatures, we are hormonal creatures, so I'm sure that that plays a big role in that. But 22% of men cheat and 14% of women cheat, and 10% of those um, are online, which is very, very easy to do. Of course, technology nowadays is unbelievable, the live chats and things like that. So you got to be real careful with that, depending on your situation. So the next one is falling in love with someone new. So for me, that's more so based on putting yourself in situations where you'll be tempted, right? If you know that you just got into an argument with your boyfriend or your spouse, like, don't go to the club and have like 10 shots of Ciroc so that you can put yourself out there like that. You want to stay at home, sleep it off, talk, because at the end of the day, communication is key, right? There goes that word again, communication. A lot of us are uncomfortable communicating, but communication can save you from a lot of heartache and pain. It really, really can. The next reason is falling out of love with the person that you're with. Um, that's easy to do if both parties aren't not only communicating, back to that word, not only communicating, but you want to make sure that your thought process is on the same level. You want to make sure that you're on the same page with things, because some relationships, you have one person that's super busy and you have the other one that is not super busy, right? And the super busy one kind of has more of that opportunity to be put out there with coworkers or people that they talk to on a regular basis. Whereas the other one, that one's dangerous as well, because they can get on board and they could be that online person, right? So that's a tricky one. I feel like you can prevent yourself from falling out of love with somebody if you look at the red flags. You don't ignore them. A lot of us ignore those in relationships, and we should not do that. But that's another whole topic, another whole day. But we do that because we don't want to be alone. But you have to be okay with being alone and loving yourself, because if you don't love yourself, how can anybody else love you, right? At the end of the day, that's pretty much what it boils down to. So next would be emotional validation. That one is number 4, and I think that one is the scariest for me to discuss, because as a female, a lot of us want emotional validation. There are some men out there, because at the end of the day, also, I think that it stems from your childhood. Things in our childhood definitely play a role in who we are in our adulthood, right? things we may not have gotten from our mom, we may not have gotten from our dad, or both of them, we seek in other people as we grow older and as we make our choices in life. Okay, that's definitely true. Think about that for a moment. It's definitely true. So you got to be careful with that, especially if you're vulnerable, especially if you've gotten into that argument or disagreement that has not been resolved because of lack of communication, right? So that one's a tricky one. So you got to be careful with that. The next one is lack of satisfaction in your relationship. So if you're not being satisfied, there's books out there, there's plenty of online tools to give you tips and things like that on how to spice up your relationship, to keep it interesting, to keep it fresh, so that you won't want to go outside of the relationship, right? The next one is desire for more or additional sexual encounters. So that one can be tricky as well, because if you're with somebody and you want to have an encounter 4 times a week, he wants to have an encounter 7 times a week, you have to come to a compromise so that once again, you'll be on that same page, so you won't have to deal with any type of confliction over who wants it more, who doesn't. Hey, I'm working a little bit this week. Don't expect that, set the standard, set the expectation so that there won't be any disappointment, right? The number one reason why people cheat, it says lack of sexual satisfaction. That goes back to the other reason, communicate, go to counseling. There's things out there that you can do to improve your sexual encounters with your partner. You just have to be confident. You have to be comfortable. A lot of us are not comfortable discussing things like that. But remember, if you're not challenged, you can't grow. If you're not comfortable, you can't grow. So you want to be able to grow as a person. And that means, dealing with uncomfortable conversations in your life. That's just the way it goes, right? So in closing, what I would like to say is, you've got married versus single, boyfriend versus girlfriend. If you are married, take the time to utilize the tools that are out there for you to save your marriage. Marriage is a sacred bond that a lot of people may never get to have. So if you have it, cherish it, keep it. You know what I mean? Do what you can to make it work. Now, at the end of the day, no, you can't fix something that won't work. No, if your spouse wants to be a cheater and you keep giving them a chance and they don't stop, then you might be dealing with a whole nother level, maybe a sex addict, maybe something that person individually needs help for. So at that point, you need to just focus on yourself, pray about it, keep it moving, because that's life, right? We're not going to go through life, unscathed. We're not going to go through life without any pain. Without pain, you cannot have growth. So you got to remember that. And for the people that are, just with boyfriend or girlfriend, not saying that those relationships aren't as serious as a marriage. They can be, because you have people that live together 10 years and never tie the knot. But you have to actually say to yourself, can I be in a committed relationship? Everybody can't. And if you can't, it's all good. You're in tune with who you are. If you want to sleep with everybody out there, don't get in a committed relationship. It's just that simple. Keep it simple, because simplicity is key to less stress. It's key to happiness. Keep it simple. Know what you want, set your standards, set your boundaries, and the most important thing you need to do is definitely communicate. So I want to thank you for watching. It was fun talking to you. I will be posting every single Thursday around 7 p.m. I look forward to sharing my thoughts and knowledge with you and my encouragement with you. And thank you so much for watching. Nala Namaste. I hope you had a fierce day. Ciao.